Good afternoon and welcome back to Markets Today. If you are just joining us, this is what we are discussing over the day. Rather, in terms of a background, over the last couple of weeks, we have been looking at different sectors in the economy to understand the trends and the drivers for these sectors. Today, we are looking at the insurance sector and we want to get a sense of what are the digital trends and what is happening and what should you as a consumer or an investor look out for. We are joined by Mr. Francis Ngari. He is the head of digital at Resolution Insurance. Welcome to the show, Francis.
Thank you.
Before we get into the insurance sector and what's happening, I'm sure you've seen what's happening globally, coronavirus, yes. The price of oil plummeting. Does this make you worry in your insurance sector? Does this make you happy? Do you see opportunities or are you more cautious?
I think on two fronts. As an insurance company, of course, we are worried. We anticipate that the number of claims may increase. As you can see, this epidemic doesn't fall within the line of areas that you would probably determine if they would happen. So this is a big surprise, and it's coming at a time when even the performance of the insurance industry, and especially in this country, is not at its best in terms of profitability. So that worries us. We get some sense of relief when we see the role that the government is playing, when we see the role and the level of involvement that the international community is doing for Kenya. Just today morning in the Business Daily, I read about a donation of $60 million to the government of Kenya. The lockdown that we are anticipating, we are walking into it, but we, like any other person in this country, I think it's a worrisome situation. We are actually looking at people, some of the people who live from hand to mouth, probably having some very challenging times when they lose some form of income. And you know, it's sort of like the wheel of the economy is getting stopped.
Exactly.
It's not rolling anymore. So the income is not flowing.
Yes.
And the expenses really sometimes they have to go.
Yes.
You didn't quite need to spend as much money on hand sanitizers. Now you have to spend that, and probably even more than you would spend on perhaps a packet of unga. Oh
no, considerably more. I mean, we've seen very high prices, but I like the way you've summarized this.
Yeah.
But maybe perhaps to ask, when you look at now at your insurance sector, as you've said that you expect maybe increased claims on, do you have a sense of what claims this would come from? What particular sectors would be hard hit by this?
Yeah. So you can say that we, in the business of insurance, sometimes we insure against the lives of people. We insure against the occurrence of loss of life. We also insure against illnesses. So those are the main areas around health insurance, around life insurance, and around funeral expenses. We have some encouraging statistics from some countries like Singapore, where we are seeing that out of about 200 infections, half of that is successful, like they have been treated and they have not had any fatality. I am positive that the measures the government has taken at an early stage is going to avert the problem. All right, fantastic. So at least we're happy that the government has done. It's painful now, but it's important for us in the longer term. Now, help us understand, when we talk about Resolution Insurance, what does Resolution Insurance do and where is it strong? Where does it derive the bulk of its business from? So allow me to take you back to 2002.
Wow,
That's when Resolution Health was founded as a medical insurance provider. And we went on that way until the year 2012, when we got our license as a general insurance company. So previously, as Resolution Health, we provided health insurance strictly. And since 2012, with our general insurance license, we rebranded from Resolution Health to Resolution Insurance. And now we have a line of products in home insurance, in health, in motor insurance, marine insurance, and every other kind of product you have in general.
Okay.
We still have our stronghold as the health insurance. We have done it for more than a decade, and that's where we derive the big part of our cake.
Okay.
We are looking to grow the general insurance line to earn us more premium than the health insurance. You know, if you look at the performance of the industry in the health sector, it's one line that has got quite a number of challenges. We find the cost of healthcare skyrocketing.
It is.
We find that the hospitals associations are getting stronger, and their bargaining power seems to be higher than that of the insurance companies. So we are there, and we are saying as a business, well, we continue to care for the people whom we provide insurance for. We'd also like to run a business that's profitable, and that's why we are looking to grow our general insurance line.
All right. Yeah. And you have been with this company for a long time. Yeah. So when we are looking at the insurance sector today, in your view, why is the penetration low just generally? Is it a supplier issue? Is it a demand issue? Is it a product design issue?
Yeah, that's a very, very good question. First, I must commend you for that.
Thank you.
You find that there are three things that need to happen for insurance penetration to happen in Kenya. Number one is affordability. I'll break them down later. Then number two, we have got the issue of trust. And number three, we have the issue of ease of doing business. What you find that insurance does not fall in the top 5 categories of a consumer's share of their wallet. If you speak to somebody walking in the streets and you ask them what are the 5 things you spend your salary on, top 5, even if you go to top 10, you'll find they'll probably talk about rent, they'll probably talk about school fees, food, perhaps entertainment and communication, you know, so on and so forth.
Yes.
So the area where insurance would now come in to improve on penetration, one, when you look at it that way, would be through, for example, partnerships. So that as you pay your rent, then you are also getting some form of insurance.
Okay.
As you do your normal shopping, then you're also getting some form of insurance. That way it becomes affordable.
Yes, and accessible as well.
And accessible. That's number one. Then number two, there is the aspect of the product design. And the nature of distribution.
Okay.
Largely, this market is one that is heavily dependent on intermediaries.
Oh, these are the agents.
The agents.
Insurance brokers.
Yes,
all right.
they support insurance in a very, very big way. And they are human. They focus on high returns like any other person. So you will find that products which have got little premium are not really sold. And they don't get to find the light of the day. And consequently, the consumers also don't get to know about them. For example, I'll tell you, photographers, for example, probably don't imagine that they need an insurance cover in case they take photos and their customer sues them because of one thing or the other.
Oh, that's a good point.
They can get professional liability.
Yes.
But these are covers which are not very expensive and probably would take the same amount of effort it takes to sell a health insurance.
Okay.
And consequently, the sellers will find it easier to sell what's going to guarantee them higher returns.
Okay.
So this is where the element of digital transformation comes in.
Yes, you've actually preempted my next question.
Yeah.
All right.
This is where the aspect of digital transformation comes in, because we are saying each section of distribution has got its strengths. In digital transformation, we would be looking to sell, would be looking to bring about more information on those products that are not consumed normally. And that's where we will come and talk about our personal accidents, we'll talk about our bonds, we'll talk about professional liabilities for doctors, lawyers, people who are in various professions.
Yes.
And that talks to the third element which I talk about, which is the ease of doing business. If you look at the consumer we are serving as an insurance company, is a customer whom we share with other sectors of the economy. And the expectation and the bar has been set very high. Starting right from the government, you can apply for your visa online. You can even pay for it online. If we go now to the bank, a lot of people are not even going to the banks. They prefer to transact online and also through the telco, M-Pesa mobile money. These are the same customers we are serving in insurance, and we are still telling them to operate using a brick and mortar mode of operation.
Yes, it's a bit tedious.
Yeah. You have to fill in a form, you have to walk to a branch, you have to speak to somebody, and things like that. And that's where the role of digital transformation is coming in now.
Okay, so where are we now as a sector? Because I mean, it's very clear what the transformation that has happened in the banking sector. Maybe you can walk us through how that transformation has permeated in the insurance sector, and then we can delve into the particular case for your company.
Okay, so as an insurance company, or rather even as an insurance industry, you find that we have largely been paper-based. Okay. We have largely been operating on branches. We have largely been operating on emails and on sales.
Phone calls that are never picked.
And phone calls.
Maybe yours are picked, but it's always very tedious when you're in hospital and you're trying to cover a claim and you have your card, and then it's an emergency, and that's the time like nobody's picking your call. But that's on a side show.
And we also deal a lot with cash, like you had to come and bring cash.
Yes.
So I want to talk about the element of payments. So at the moment, a lot of insurance companies now, you'll have realized, actually want to receive electronic payments. And thanks to innovations like M-Pesa and the fact that they have gone so far as to allow people to integrate with their systems, you can pay for your insurance right from where you are. And you don't need to call anybody to say you have paid. You make the payment, and through integrations, we are able to match your payment to your policy.
So is it now Safaricom has begun to open its APIs to different sectors, and that's beneficial to you?
And that's very beneficial.
Okay. Is it now completely open? I mean, I'm not quite familiar. The last time I tried to catch up on the interface, it was limiting it to the kind of stakeholders or partners that it would open up its interface to.
There is always an opportunity to get better.
Yes.
But I think what they have done so far has been transformative for businesses that are receiving money and payments through M-Pesa.
All right, fair enough.
Fair enough. So we are seeing some changes around payments. So payments are now largely electronic. We are seeing changes around quotes. So previously you had to call somebody to make a quote for you. Okay. Nowadays, with most insurance companies, we've seen Liaison Group launch their platform this week. We have seen lots of adverts from various insurance companies. You can get your quotes online. Okay. You're saying that largely, by and by, a lot of insurance companies looking to generate digital leads. You go to Jumia, and the next thing, a banner comes up and asks you to put in some details, and that goes straight as a lead, and someone begins to call you and follow up for insurance. All right. So the situation we are at right now leaves insurance companies now with a gap to fill. And it's now the digital gap, whereby we are saying, how can we convert the person who asked for a quote into an insurance product? Okay. Yeah. All right. And so now, largely, we begin to see now other insurance coming up with solutions of where you can buy your insurance online, where you can make your claims online, where you can renew online. We have a few insurance companies over there. I think the landscape will be very different in the next 2 years. If you don't have a digital platform as an insurance company, you will be out of business. Yes, that's true. So you've said that the transformation is largely on payments and also building up the sales cycle and the conversion rate. And I also transparency of information in terms of what product do I want and what pricing is available. Maybe you can help us understand the recent trend that we have seen, where now instead of having the traditional form of brokers who run around with forms, etc., we're beginning to see people who are saying, download an app. When you download this app, we'll give you access to insurance company A, B, C, D, E. Is that worthwhile? Is that the next frontier? What's the next 1 or 2 key things to look out for when you're saying everybody needs to be on a digital platform in the next 2 years? I want to put it this way. Okay. Customers of insurance consume insurance at three major points. One is when they are buying insurance for the first time. Next is when they are renewing. And most of the time, when they are making a claim. Especially when they are making a claim, that's the point when an insurance product is actually being consumed.
Yes.
And that's actually the point at which the scale gets tipped. That's the point at which customers put us on a weighing scale and say, is the insurance industry transforming or is it getting worse?
Okay.
Yeah, so I think in the next frontier, we are likely to see a lot of digital solutions coming up now on the side of claims.
Yes.
Because we have seen them coming up now on the side of getting the business into insurance, comparing quotes.
So it's more of, it's a phase. So
it's a phase.
Eventually the entire value chain will be covered.
It's going to be covered.
Okay, Francis, let's just take a short break and look out for the closing bell. Then when we come back, you can help us understand what this transformation journey has looked like for Resolution Insurance. We take a short break. We will be back once the market closes. Look out for the closing bell.